Disaster Report, or as it's called in Japan, Setai Setsumi Toshi, The Desperate City, is an action survival earthquake simulator? That's what it says on the back of the box, at least. Escape the fury of nature. That tagline will become a bit questionable. Created by IRAM and released in North America in 2003 for the PlayStation 2, it was created with the idea of finding horror in natural disasters, not zombies. According to designer Kazuma Kujo, it's not that new of an idea, even around 2003. There's farm games, life sim games, and dating sims. Games have been trying to do these kinds of simulation experiences for a long time, but I can see what they mean. It's a dangerous situation rather than a safe farm. It's a game where it's more about survival, no fighting, just trying not to get crushed, drown, fall from a deadly height, or a rocket launcher to the face. Wait, that's not a natural disaster. This is the American cover for the game. I think they were trying to make it more exciting looking. It worked. The art cover is what caught my attention. The Japanese cover has a more minimalistic look, which also worked for the tone they're going for the game. Also, it fits the other releases. Before we begin, I want to talk about how this game teaches you to play. Well, actually, it doesn't. The only way to know in the English version is to read the manual. Like the shout button. I didn't know about it till I looked it up in the manual. Or most of the controls for that matter. There is a reason for this, which is that the Japanese version has a tutorial that was removed from the English version. The tutorial is a few videos explaining the game mechanics. If my Japanese was better, I'd try the Japanese version. But, this is supposed to be about the English version I played back when it was released. But back to the tutorial, there is an important part of the UI. The blue bars near the health bar is your thirst gauge, though I'm not sure why it's called QP. No idea what that stands for. It acts like a stamina bar, though. It goes down over time as you move around. Running or having to pull yourself up makes it drain faster. You need to drink water that's not contaminated. The protagonist will say if the water's fine or not, so you don't have to guess. Other than knowing the shout button, which you'll hardly use, and the bracing button, that might get you killed at times when you should be running, most of the controls are basic. This is around the time when you use the L2 button to center the camera, and that's your only way to control it. There's a few more points, but the game will tell you later. Before we jump into the game itself, let's read the manual's starting story. It's quite dramatic. The year is 2001. After 10 years of building in secret, the government announces to the world the completion of a top-secret project based in the Pacific Ocean. It was the construction of an artificial isle known as Stiver Island. In a feat of revolutionary technology, the government utilizes its top engineering talent to transform a minor spur of a rock that barely stood above the ocean waves to a thriving, man-made island, complete with a state-of-the-art metropolis. This endeavor was beyond any perceived architectural accomplishment in man's history, dating back to the construction of the pyramids of Egypt. I don't know, this whole "not since the pyramids" sentence just makes me laugh. It's so serious. They're so serious about this. The revolutionary technology allowed the government to build in a location that reached the depths of the ocean floor that was believed unusable by modern standards. The advanced construction methods were also well below cost and timetables associated with current methods of construction. This technology, the government officials felt, would be an incredible offering for other countries that are suffering from overcrowded cities and population explosion. Because of this, a great deal of attention was given to this man-made island. The government officials knew with this technology they had an incredible export item for the rest of the world. To prove their faith and strengthen the durability of the technology and to gain credibility from the rest of the world's scientists and leaders, they decided to move part of the government administrative functions to Stiver Island. For this reason, the city on Stiver Island is called Capital City. A few years have passed. Capital City is still known as the City of the Future. The year is 2005. Keith Helm is on his way to Capital City for what he considers is a dream job, editor for the prestigious Town Crier newspaper. This is his first trip to Capital City, and he easily slips into a daydream as his train makes its way across the long bridge from CC Airport, which is located on another island, to Capital City itself. Keith saw the now famous skyline of the city from his train window, still marveling at the beauty of this city of the future. He briefly closed his eyes as rays of sunshine warmed his face. He could also smell the salty ocean breeze as he listened to the noisy seagulls squawking as they played above the waves. Within a few tragic moments, however, Keith's world would be turned upside down forever. Also literally because his train tips over. We begin with Keith Helm, the newspaper reporter. The manual calls him an editor, but Keith says he's a reporter. Wait, his profile in the manual says he's a reporter. Forget it. The game keeps calling him a reporter, so that's what he is. Keith is noting how he is about to start his new life on Stiver Island.
June 2005. Sunny. I see Stiver Island outside my window. I'm a newspaper reporter assigned here. Today is my first day. I'm looking forward to my new life here. But the train from Airport Island never got me to Capital City.
Here is a disaster report update. A massive earthquake has struck Capital City just after noon yesterday. The magnitude of the earthquake has not been confirmed, but Capital City has suffered extensive damage. Up to 2,000 people are missing or dead. The epicenter of the quake was Capital City itself. Strong aftershocks continue to hit Capital City, making rescue attempts very dangerous.
The game shows Keith heading for the island. A news anchor on the radio starts talking about a quake that hit. We're then shown that the airport was also hit. You can even see the bridge in the background shaking. The tremors have got to be bad if they're hitting not just the island, but another island in the process. Keith wakes up in the tipped over train alone, and here's the actual beginning of the game. The camera is fixed here, which happens in the closed-in spaces of the game. When we're outside, it lets me change the camera angle a bit more. The first thing you'll notice is the game's soundtrack seems to almost be non-existent. There is a track, but you won't hear it for most of the game. By the third of the game is where I remember hearing most of the background music. I'm assuming since they are trying to simulate being in a disaster, music would break the immersion, but sometimes the sound effects are a bit too much. This game is loud. I'm trying to keep the sound balanced throughout this video. Trust me, trying to find fitting background music related to the game for this video hasn't been easy. I was lucky enough to find an upload of the tracks, and some of the music I don't even remember hearing in the game. Though to be fair, I think one track is Japanese only, since there's a name input track, and that's been removed from the English version entirely. Keith then goes around trying to find help, wondering where everybody's gone. He does find people across a broken part of the bridge being rescued. Either that was the worst throw in the world, or whoever tossed that is a real sadist. To get to the other side, Keith needs to do some platforming and climb some ladders. The platforming is kind of a mixed bag in this game. Some balancing and platforming work just fine. It's not too bad in this section. Later on, it can get a bit frustrating, and I'll let you know when I get there. Most of the game is figuring out where you need to go, and sometimes it's not completely clear. This is before the yellow tape telling you what's climbable. That, or my sense of direction could just be that bad. Either way, I get to the other side, and now Keith can get that emergency bag. After Keith is in a safe place, the game forces the menu open and goes to a note inside the bag. It talks about an owner of a restaurant that's on the bridge. It's available to anyone who needs a safe place to go. It says there's a key hidden in a potted plant by the building. Since we're looking into the emergency bag anyway, let's see what we have here. Small bottle, gauze, and a key ring. Pretty bare bones, but we'll make do. After getting some water, Keith heads to the restaurant. Survivors were there earlier. We saw them run to the helicopter. So maybe he can find something useful to help him get to safety. So much for this place being safe. The building quickly becomes a death trap as it tilts downward. He seems to either have the best or worst luck because everything crumbles behind him, making it impossible to backtrack. So get any item you can before leaving an area. You are not going to be able to go back for it. Heading into the next room, Keith hears the radio go off.
Now for an updated earthquake damage report. The earthquake that rocked Stiver Island just past noon yesterday is still creating aftershocks around the area. All routes in and out of the island have been cut off, and many citizens are still trapped in or around Capital City. Rescue operations began in the southwestern region where flooding was the most severe. Thankfully, it seems that the operations are going smoothly, without major incident. As more news comes in, we will keep you updated. Up next, our special report, video games and violence.
Okay, so this confirms what I thought happened to Keith. He's been out cold for a whole day in the train. That explains why he was left alone, and that there was no one on the bridge when he climbed out. Everyone had either been rescued or fell off into the sea. Well, time to leave through a window after ransacking the place. The bridge still looks bad, but maybe Keith can make it across, though his curse strikes again and the restaurant falls into the ocean. Around this point, Keith can hear a woman calling for help. I can have Keith go back to get a response, and then Keith can find the woman trapped inside a train.
No! Hey!
Oh, I need to make a note. I've been playing this game mostly blind, even if I have played it before, back when it first came out. I found I barely remember what happens in this game, so I'm going to get lost. A lot. But my first set of footage was pretty bad. It was blurry and grayed out. I fixed it for most of the game, but my beginning playthrough is hard to watch. So I replayed the beginning again. The mistakes I made aren't here, but I was able to see the woman in the train by going into first-person mode the first time. I think I forgot to show that here in my replay, so here's what the old footage looked like. Also, another note, that because I'm using, well, a different way to show the game, the cursor for choosing options has disappeared. I had to listen to sound cues to tell where it was. That PlayStation 2 is a fun yet touchy console, isn't it? So I'll put a little symbol here to show what I'm choosing. Back to the game. Keith finds a rope in a tough place. I actually did find the rope first, partly because I couldn't figure out how to get to the lady in the train, and partly because I think my gamer brain told me to look around. It's also possible I vaguely remember the rope, but I can't confirm or deny that. So we find another way into the train by climbing onto this side. At least he didn't get knocked out again. If you try to walk over to the woman, she, understandably screams at you to stop. It's clear that just walking over to her would be dangerous, so let's put that rope to use.
No! Are you okay?
The woman thanks Keith and asks for his name, which he gives and lets her know he works for a newspaper. She understandably asks if he's here trying to get a story, but he lets her know he was just heading to work that day. The woman thanks us a second time and introduces herself as Karen Morris. Keith asks if she's hurt. She says she's just shaken. Keith says he heard that a helicopter is coming from the mainland and asks if she can walk. Keith can talk to Karen and sometimes she gives hints on what to do, but mostly it's flavor text. This is to encourage talking to her because to get the true ending, you're going to have to pay attention to Karen. Also, it's probably point related. Yeah, there's a point system. It's not important as far as I can tell, but depending on things or people you find or the option you choose, how many compasses you find, you can gain more points. I don't understand it all, but I'll show you my report card at the end. Also, as I just mentioned, you can find compasses to change your UI compass. They are hidden throughout the game. Heading to part of the bridge that Keith can't climb up, Karen suggests that Keith help her up, and she'll go look for something to help him up. Time passes, and for a moment, Keith starts to wonder if Karen left him behind. Karen proves him wrong by appearing with a rope. Now that the two have made it up, they can continue towards the city. Unfortunately for them, that's the only direction they can go in. And that ends the first section of the game. The next part opens with helicopters flying overhead.
Hey! Over here! Help us! Ah! No!
Come on, Keith. You can do this. Don't screw it up.
There's still hope.
Could have had a little more energy to that.
I know.
Wait, that actually worked? Once we're finally off the bridge and onto the island, Karen talks about how she should have been on a plane by now. Guess she was planning to fly far. Karen shows Keith her plane ticket that her uncle got her, and Keith points out that the date is wrong. If Karen was supposed to leave the day of the quake, which was yesterday, the ticket should say the 21st. But the date on the ticket is the 20th. So Karen was already too late. Karen, you make me worry about you. She then realizes her dog is still probably on the island, if the neighbor she left him with didn't take him with them. Next thing to do in any new area, look for items. And I would like to talk a little bit about the items in this game. I'm going to assume most of these items are for the point system, since I never found a use for a good amount of them. Like the magnifier, I have no idea what it's used for. I'm sure there's something in the game for it, but I've never found it. It just sat in my bag all game. Or later on when I find a purifier. It's used to purify bad water, but I think Because I'm on normal mode, I never had to use it. All the water I've run into has been fine to drink, and it will continue for this whole playthrough. While looking for items, a radio goes off nearby.
Now for a Stiver Island earthquake update. The government announced it was a magnitude 6.0. The damage, however, is much more severe than that. Many experts have their own theories and are questioning the government press release. Rescue operations are being conducted without trouble, and about 280 citizens have been rescued thus far.
6.0. That sounds bad. But I've never seen or felt an earthquake before. Considering the tremors and the damage so far, the anchor lady is probably right. Karen stops us to point out on the map some place she knows where we can get some supplies. A convenience store. So after getting past the terrain and through a bus that was in the way by using this handy crowbar I found earlier, we see a police car quickly making its way out. That's strange. After getting through a few rough tremors, we make it to the market that Karen pointed out.
Oh yeah. Where do you work?
I'm a reporter for the Town Crier newspaper.
Really? You don't seem like one.
What's that supposed to mean?
No, that's not your hearing. The voice acting just stops. We can find a few helpful items and change out our backpack for a larger one. Keith is going to need Karen's help again to get up. She quickly comes back and hands Keith a fire extinguisher before leaving again. She then screams, which means we're probably not going to get any help up. We'll have to find another way around. Lucky for Keith, he's got that extinguisher that Karen found, which will get us past this fire. And then we toss it because it was a one-use item. Good. More room for my bag. Keith finds a way up and into a nearby building, discovering a person seriously injured. You have the option to give him water, and we do since we have plenty. The man hands Keith a card and tells him to hurry. Hurry with what? Another man shows up and tells Keith that there's a man with a gun coming through here, and he's pretty sure that the man on the floor was shot by him. He says he'll watch over the guy and tells Keith to go on ahead. As soon as we head inside the next area, Small Radio has an update for us.
Breaking earthquake news alert. An evacuation has been ordered for Stiver Island. Stiver Island is severely breaking apart due to the earthquake and has begun sinking near the coastal areas. Citizens remaining on the island are advised to move to the central area. That's the central area of Capital City for evacuation. We repeat, Stiver Island is severely breaking apart due to the earthquake and has begun sinking near the coastal areas. Citizens remaining on the island are advised to move to the central area of Capital City for evacuation.
The island is sinking. That's not good. Guess that's why the tremors haven't stopped. Oh, we can take this radio. Nice. And the umbrella. Now we can get updates on the fly, instead of relying on random radios to give us plot-relevant updates. As soon as Keith leaves the building, a helicopter can be heard. Keith then spots the man with a gun being lifted into said helicopter. Whew, we don't have to worry about that guy. Keith finds himself in the area where Karen disappeared. There's also a police car here that seems to have crashed. I think the game here and later implies that this is the police car we saw earlier on the bus, but I'm not sure how it ended up here. At this point, I just remembered I never did look at that business card the dying man gave me. Huh? Well, I'm sure this will be important later. Let's crawl through this hole. Inside the building, it's completely turned over. Keith is going to have to climb up. But I get confused about what I'm supposed to do because going into the tipped over elevator just has some gauze and... Really? Clean water? This is clean? If you say so, game. I can't even fill my bottles with water. I wonder how long Keith had to stand there to fill them up. I wander in and out before I realize I'm supposed to climb up, which also took me a bit since it wasn't clear what I could grab onto. I fell a few times. We find Karen hiding up here. I'm kind of impressed she found her way up. Why did she scream?
You alright? What are you doing over here?
Oh, thank God. You found me.
What happened? There was a police car outside.
Some freaky girl was chasing me.
Freaky girl?
Yeah, she went out that way.
Huh. I wonder who this freaky girl could be, and if we'll ever find out. The answer is no, we'll never find out. If there is an answer, it's not important to the plot, and I never find it myself. So after wandering around, picking up more items, another tremor starts.
No!
Whew, good thing Keith has an umbrella. I wanted Karen to walk with Keith, but she didn't seem to get it. In my first playthrough, I missed a few things here. One is I could have given Karen the umbrella here. I ended up doing it later, but in the first playthrough, I didn't do it now. I saw in a screenshot that if you move Keith close to Karen with the umbrella, she shares it with him. Kind of like how I wanted to do it, but the other way around. I like this little attention to detail. It's cute. The second part I missed has nothing to do with the story, but there's a whole part where Karen and Keith find a lady robbing a jewelry store.
Don't take long. It could be dangerous inside. Is someone in there?
Yeah, so? What, I can't be in here?
No, I didn't mean it that way.
Why are you laughing? Is there something funny?
No, I didn't mean anything by it. Sorry.
I had no idea that this interaction existed, and I did not find it on my own. When I saw it, I first thought, oh, was that the lady Karen saw? The one who chased her? But no, Karen never says she is. So I don't know who the crazy lady who chased Karen was. You could use some of your meds to help her, since digging through the glass has cut her up. Other than finding a compass, you gain nothing from coming in here, except maybe points for the report card. The last part was this poster. Keith recognizes the man in it and reads that he is from the Land Development Department. Karen says his name is Albert Sims, and he's the director there. He's famous on the island. She can't believe someone that important could still be on the island. But we saw him. We certainly did see him. Back to my first playthrough. Keith and Karen come across a guy named Greg. He beckons us to follow him through a hole. Let's follow the stranger. Should lead to good things.
There's someone that needs help up there. Will you come?
There are more survivors. We should go help.
After acquiring a hard hat, we meet up with Greg.
So where's this person at?
Oh, right here. You're looking at him.
Huh?
I need to go further in, but it looks like these things have to be moved at the same times as the ones above. Can you go up there for me? By the way, I'm Greg, freelance photographer and aspiring journalist. And you are?
I'm Keith, and
Karen.
Keith and Karen. Okay, let's hurry. We'd be in trouble if another earthquake hits.
Well, Greg is certainly an interesting character. Getting up there isn't a problem. Lots of climbing and jumping. Though Keith can overhear Greg and Karen speaking below him when he gets there. What could they be discussing? Probably Greg trying to probe Karen about the relationship between her and Keith, from the little bit we can hear. After removing the poles, Keith has to make his way back to everyone. Once again, everything falling apart around him. But I can finally reach the compass up here. When Keith gets to the bottom, Greg has already gone ahead.
where's Greg?
He went on ahead. He seemed very excited to get moving. Maybe we should see what he's up to.
I agree. Let's do it.
Karen asks if she can go first. For obvious reasons. Let's let the lady go first. Climbing down, actually falling down. Good thing Keith has a ton of healing items in his bag. So there's a bit of climbing and, woo, a dead body. Sorry, I think this is the first time you actually see a dead body. Unless you count the man dying before. We've seen no bodies at all. Not that I want gore or piles of bodies. It's just weird we've seen nothing. The game opens with saying like 2,000 people are dead or missing, so I just expected more. Well, maybe the devs just didn't want that kind of atmosphere. Karen and Keith finally catch up with Greg.
Wow. What's all this for?
This here? It's a water pipe.
I know that. Why are you taking pictures of it?
Oh, no need to worry about that.
Greg is very secretive. Talking to him lets us know he's taking advantage of the earthquake to sneak into this place. More tremors force everyone to run out. We can't go back now.
So, what are you guys gonna do now? Do you have a plan?
The radio said something about evacuate to the center of the island.
The center, huh? Windrunner Park. That's the only open area around there. I've already been there once today, so I can probably get you most of the way there. I can be your guide if you want.
Thanks.
But in return, I might be requesting your help again.
Ah, so that's how it is.
Yeah, Greg seems to be a I scratch your back, you scratch my back kind of guy. Anyway, this is when I actually give Karen the umbrella, since the prop came up when I had Keith talk to her. We come up to a building that's very badly damaged. There's only one way to get there, and it's to climb up the fire truck. Now at this point I spend way too much time trying to figure out this area. I don't know if it's the game or me, but I kept thinking I needed to leave to move stuff forward, and then I had to climb all the way back up, realizing I missed something. Well, at least during all these shenanigans, Keith got a new backpack, and we find a clue that leads him to an emergency door. Ooh, this building is very unstable. I'm not even sure why I'm here, to be honest. Down below, Keith finds survivors.
Thank God! Help has arrived. Can you lend me a hand? Do you have any tools?
No.
Well, is there a rescue team nearby? Are you all alone? What the hell? Don't take pictures of me without asking. I'll sue you.
Sorry, it's in my blood.
Cold, Greg. Real cold. And now you two show up? The old man realizes Greg is a reporter, so he decides to tell Greg something important. Guess the older man is worried he won't make it. Can't really blame him with how badly injured he looks. The old man says the island is defective and that there are too many holes. He's not wrong, but we'll get to that when the method used to make this island is revealed. The older man goes on to say that the reservoir is defective. The way it's made and its location are terrible. Wasn't Greg taking pictures of something like that earlier? The old man says the government should be blamed, but he also says the blame is mostly on the project leader for the island. The project leader's name is Terry Stryver of Christoph Construction. Isn't the island named after him?
Huh. Is that it?
You got everything?
Yes. How about another picture?
I suppose.
Jeez, Greg. According to Greg, the injured man is an attorney who dealt with a lot of complaints named Charlie Baxter. Greg had planned on just rummaging through the files, but he says he's lucky to have been able to talk to Baxter in person. Well, I suppose since we're here, let's read all the complaints that we can find. They are lying around for us, and it's not like anyone will stop us. The first complaint talks about weird growling sounds on the island and varies in how loud it was depending on the spot. The second complaint talks about some of the growling sound being so bad in some places that there are vibrations that could be felt. This is when people started filing lawsuits because it was affecting their lives. After being told to get a key for the door, we find an island research file and a photo in some rubble. The research paper talks about the vibrations from the complaints. Turns out that the worst of it is from the reservoir for rainwater, when the water is expelled. The photo is of Baxter and his wife, so let's have Keith give it back to them.
Oh, thank you.
Is that your grandson?
Yes, he just started elementary school this year. We promised to take him to the amusement park this summer.
That's right. We promised.
That is one aggressive death flag that's been thrown. If we try to leave, a helicopter can suddenly be heard. As more death flags are being tossed around, the old woman begs us to go get help. I guess we can refuse, but I won't. I'll get that helicopter's attention. Or not. We just kind of stumble out of the building and it starts to collapse.
You're in my way.
What a guy, Greg. What a guy. Despite this, Keith heads over and gets Karen out. But the couple... Hey. Hey, Greg. Want to explain yourself?
This path should lead to the amusement park. Beyond that is the hospital where the injured are going.
I suppose we're just gonna move on from that.
Oh, yeah, that road is blocked here by a fallen building. It's a dead end.
I think my house is that way.
I haven't been that way. I couldn't give you a damage report.
I'm worried about my dog.
Okay, well, I don't care either way. We can split up here.
Well, I'm worried. I'm going home.
What are you gonna do?
This is actually a choice that can change what path of the game you play. Since it's the first playthrough, let's stick with Karen. She seems like a person who needs looking after.
You're going to her house?
Thank you.
I'm going this way. Someone's waiting for me. Windrunner Park is northeast of here. A rescue operation should be going on there for a while. There's a tall tower near the park. Let's meet there if you're still alive. Good luck. See you around.
Thank you. I feel bad.
No worries. Let's go.
Okay.
Karen and Keith discuss how they should hurry, since the area might already be flooded. Which then, 2 seconds later, we get cut off and trapped where we are.
Over here!
Well, crap. We can't go forward and we can't go back. So what should we do? Build a boat, of course. Let's see, barrels, we got this. Tires, yeah, that'll work. Let's get this bench broken apart with a crowbar. Rope! Oops. Is it bad that I did this a few more times thinking I just wasn't fast enough before I realized what I needed to do? Then I realized Keith used very help. Thanks to Karen, she gave me enough time to escape. Now we can build this raft. Behold, my masterpiece. Now to paint it. Perfection. This seems really dangerous. That water is going real fast, but we're going anyway. It's a short segment where we have to dodge some objects so we don't crash and drown. This is also one of the few times music plays. After somehow surviving that, Karen and Keith start a small fire to dry off.
Remember what that old man in the building was saying? Terry, of Christoph Construction. That person is my uncle.
That's your uncle?
Yeah. My uncle lives on this island too. But I haven't seen him in a long time. He was very nice to me when I was younger. I'm not trying to defend him or anything, but the island is badly damaged and I'm wondering if my uncle is going to be forced to take responsibility. Oh, I wonder how he's doing. I'm so sorry. I know this isn't your problem.
And don't worry about it. If it makes you feel any better, go ahead and talk about it.
Thank you.
So Stiver is Karen's uncle, huh? Also, it's starting to seem like this isn't as natural of a disaster as we thought. The complaints about the reservoir for rainwater and Greg taking pictures of the drain pipes, I'm starting to get a picture that this man-made island is flawed. Now back to running for our lives. Karen stops us again to show us where her house and the subway station is on the map. We can't enter the subway station at the moment. Inside another store, Keith crawls through some glass to get a coat hanger. Trust me, we'll need it. Keith and Karen head towards the blocked off area where we need to go. There is a bus still running, but there's a fire in the way of the entrance. There's some cables that lead towards that bus. Guess what Keith needs to do? Told you that hanger would be useful. I pressed the wrong button. Much better. Now Keith can get this sweet new hat and then move the bus so Karen can get in and make it to the other side. As we follow Karen to her house, the radio goes off.
Now for news on the Stiver Island earthquake. Breaking news for all surviving people still on the island. A massive rescue operation will be conducted tomorrow. That's tomorrow in the central areas of Capital City. Boats will come down Lucas Canal, which flows through the center of the island. Again, boats will come down Lucas Canal, which flows through the center of the island. All citizens are advised to move to the following locations: Windrunner Park, May Stadium, Capital Elementary School, Capital City Control Center, Stiver Gardens. Repeat, Windrunner Park, May Stadium, the Capital Elementary School, Capital City Control Center, and Stiver Gardens.
I'm going ahead.
Whoa, Karen, why so mad? I think the cutscene made it seem like Keith wasn't following her. That might have triggered something. We finally make it to Karen's house, and she decides to go in to change out of her wet and dirty clothes. And so I wait, and wait, and wander, and wait. And then I realize I should probably try going into the house, and then decide not to because I'm no pervert. Karen then comes out and says she couldn't get to her closet because the roof caved in. So I guess we wasted our time? Or not, because suddenly the dog appears. Yeah, he's a little beagle. Well, we have everything then. Time to go to the park. Okay, let me be real about this bike. It's almost pointless. Really, we use it for a short time just to get back to where we were faster. Well, that and the area is flooding. Also, you can't fall over. The turns you can do on this are ridiculous. How is that dog staying in the basket? Backtracking to the road leading to the park, Karen and Keith move on to the next part of the game, which is the subway station. For some reason, it's open now. Not sure that's safe. Okay, find Jen, get out of the subway. That's the plan. We find what seems to be an employee room, where we find more proof that the rumblings people heard were from water and weak areas in the island. We also get a hint about a crack in the wall. Getting deeper into the station, Jen can be heard barking. So we spend a good chunk of the level wandering around, avoiding the ceiling collapsing on us. There are some unfair deaths here. Oh, that's where he is. Probably a good idea to stuff him in the backpack, if the little dog can't stick with us on his own. We finally found the crack in the wall, and use the crowbar on it to reveal a door that leads to a huge area of water.
Oh, wow. I can't see the bottom. See that? The water line used to be up there.
Maybe this is a...
Reservoir. Gotta be with all the clues we were given. So this is the badly made reservoir we've been hearing so much about.
Is this the adjustment reservoir the old man was talking about?
The water was up there when the earthquake happened. Then this hole opened and the water drained.
It's convincing.
After much wandering, we find a door out. Thank goodness we didn't get buried alive. But we can only go up now.
What a thrill.
Please don't light on fire. Ah. Now for some platforming. And this is probably my least favorite part of the game. It's not too bad in the beginning, but the real issue I have with this section of the game is right around the point where you have to move really quickly. Why is that, you ask? Because the camera decides to move on its own if you wait too long to set up your jump, missing the platform. And you can't wait too long either, or you'll get crushed. Then there's this part, where Keith just doesn't grab the bar, which then confuses me on where I need to go. Probably because I wasn't high enough to grab it, but still, this became frustrating, especially because I had to start all over every time I died, and I still couldn't figure out where I was supposed to go if I ever actually got back to this point. Finally, I get up here, praying I don't have to do this all over again. I get out. To be fair, it wasn't the worst platforming I've ever dealt with, but I remember this being annoying. Now that that's over, the park is real close, but there's one spot Karen and Keith decide to check out since it's on the way.
Oh, this is it.
Here?
See? It's the Town Crier newspaper building. Hey. Whoa. Can you see that little light?
Well, well. Looks like people are still here. I guess we should check. Maybe we can help this person this time. Unlike before. Heading inside, we find an old man here, working on a laptop. He acts all nonchalant and asks if Keith got lost on his way here. Excuse me, sir? The whole island is sinking?
That must mean you walked all the way here from the airport. How was the city?
Well,
Oh yeah, sure, it's been quite lovely.
I see.
William, or the Chief as most characters call him, mentions that Greg used to work for the Crier, but now he's a freelancer. Then suddenly Karen asks if her uncle will have to take responsibility for what happened. I hate to break it to you, Karen, it seems like he did a bad job on this island. The Chief points out that the disaster was pretty much just on the island, which isn't completely true since CC Airport was hit. That was on a different island. The Chief tries to comfort Karen by adding that the government is also to blame for the method of the island's construction that was used. The Chief says that Christoph Construction is right next door. And well, just like Greg, let's go borrow the construction report. So we're given an employee ID and a voice recorder. The ID isn't important, but the voice recorder will come in handy. So I guess I'm gonna go steal that ooh, cowboy hat. Before we leave, we can talk to the Chief about a few topics. Keith asks the Chief what he is doing here, and he pretty much says he's here because with all the chaos, he can get into places he normally wouldn't be able to. He's also trying to get as much information as he can back to the main office. Next, Keith asks about the island, but he pretty much tells us to check the files of the building, and I will before I leave. The last question is about a report we've been asked to go get. He says a Christoph Construction employee sent a tip, saying that the public report is different from the private one. And this is our last chance to go get that report, so we better get a move on. He tells Keith that it's on the 12th floor. So I guess the ends justifies the means? Well, normally I'm against that line of thinking, but considering the damage and loss of life, I think we can make an exception here. That and we can probably just argue that it was abandoned. So after that talk, we go into the archives to find more information. Okay, sit back and relax. This will take a moment. I'll try to summarize it, but it's important. Most of it is about people dying during the construction of Driver Island. They are deemed accidents, but there seems to be evidence of tampering. One was even a landslide that killed an entire family. There's even activists taking hostages who seem to be against building the island. He's this activist for everything. Didn't turn out well for the hostages. None survived. There's a lot of controversy around this island. It makes you wonder how it even got made. Well, that would be because, well, you know, the government made it happen. The next bit of info is going to tell us why the island was made in the first place. It's a tad confusing, since the localization changed characters' names from Japanese to English, even if this is clearly a Japanese government and politics. I mean, Americans don't have a prime minister. But this game did come out in Europe first. That's probably why there's still a prime minister in the translation. Also, some of this we did hear in the manual. The Prime Minister wanted to move the capital to somewhere else due to the overpopulation and a need to jumpstart the economy. The short version of this is that the government wanted to split up the political power to keep tensions in said government from rising. They didn't want the whole country being run by one place, so they are splitting it into about 3 or 4 places. At least that's what I'm getting out of this. The third capital city would be Stiver Island, so you can see why this island had to be made no matter what. Christoph Construction's honeycomb Keisan method was decided in making the island, which is pretty much the bottom of the island is broken up into honeycomb shapes. It's to save on the materials, but should be strong. Should be. Alright, this piece of information might explain where the earthquakes are coming from. FK Industries was found dumping waste into a river that caused bedrock crack and cause quakes. People that were affected sued. It also probably smelled real bad since it was human waste. Ew. But there might have been other components of waste. Unfortunately, at the time it couldn't be proven that it caused the quake, so it was dismissed. The landslide is mentioned again. The construction operator getting soil for the island was responsible for it, and was sued for wrongful death. The government might also be at fault due to rushing construction. But it was all silenced and deemed a natural disaster, so lawsuit dismissed, all wrongdoing dismissed. That's rough. There's mention of another dismissed lawsuit for an earthquake in 2000. So there have been issues with the island for quite a while. With all the evidence, it's becoming clear what happened. And, well, here's what I think is going on. The government hired Christoph Construction to make the island. They also told them to use the method called honeycomb caisson. Caisson is a type of structure used in waterworks, so it's also used to control the water on the island. It's a hexagon grid throughout the bottom of the island itself. Because of the empty spaces, they are able to save on materials. The reports were saying that the vibrations are so bad in some parts of the island that people were suing, which I'm pretty sure that's because of the reservoir rainwater. So what I'm thinking is that it's not as strong as we've been told, either in specific areas or the whole thing isn't as strong as we've been told. Then we have reports of a company dumping waste into it. Not just human waste, but some sort of chemical that was unidentified. So what I'm thinking happened is that the chemical was probably either eroding the walls or causing quakes when it hits the water. And that one report was a test. So in conclusion, none of this is a natural disaster. This is man-made. So back to the box. Nature has nothing to do with this! And that's the summary of what we've learned so far. That was a lot. Time to go steal some evidence. The entrance to the building is closed off. There's a small gap that's too small to crawl through, but there is a jack nearby, so I use that to open the gap a bit more. The lobby has a few things to read. That's mostly about the honeycomb caisson method. Also, there's a model of the island itself. So, where could this report be? Well, checking the 12th floor, there's an office with its lights still on. Wait, that's strange. Every other room is dark. I find a key and a family photo. The photo is a picture of Karen when she was younger and her family. There is a safe, but we don't know the number. Heading to the administration department and using the key to get in, there's not a whole lot to find in here. There is a paper with names on it and who sits where and... Oh, okay. I'll be honest. This is supposed to help solve a puzzle. But I didn't realize I had the answer sitting right in front of me. Because of this, I walked all the way back to the Crier News building and showed Karen the photo. After that, I went back, and to tell the truth, I brute forced the answer to the puzzle by checking every desk. Here's how you're actually supposed to solve it. Remember the man who was dying all the way back near the beginning of the game? The card he gave us is the answer. His desk is the one we're supposed to look at. He was trying to tell us that he had evidence of what's really going on. And the weird message on the back is the answer to what we need to look at. Inside the novel is a tape and a card with a safe code on it. Well, since we're here, let's listen to the tape.
Excellent. You did it. Good work, Terry.
It can start whenever we want it to.
When will it be then?
I'm thinking June 21st.
June 21st. I see. Okay. June 21st it is. Now, finally.
Yeah. Let's put an end to this.
Ooh, that can't be good. Now this removes all doubt that this was planned. And Karen's uncle was definitely involved. At least we can open the safe now. Though once we pick it up, Keith can hear someone coming. We gotta hide.
Yes, we're doing our job. Maybe more people should have died, huh? Well, we can't expect much more. Most of the survivors evacuated already. Ah, Terry. He's still alive. I won't let him die that easily. Then killing his family would mean very little. I'm his best friend. Everything will go smoothly. It should be done by tomorrow. I understand.
We have to sneak out without being spotted. Lucky for Keith, the man's line of sight isn't very good. Watch me slowly get away.
Understood. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Got it. Uh-huh.
Let me add music.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I see. Uh-huh.
Aha! We did it!
Understood.
Don't move.
Ah, crap.
A newspaper reporter. You guys, you just don't give up, do you?
What do you want to do? Kill him?
No. We don't have the time to mess with him. Leave him here.
Are you sure?
He'll sink with the building.
Understood.
Let's go.
We are certainly in a pickle here. Or would be, if not for the obvious glinting spot. Keith can just inch his way over there and cut himself loose. And now we just walk out the front door. Probably should have killed Keith. Or take the report from us. Or the tape recorder. Or anything, really. Unfortunately for us, they actually did do something. They set the crier on fire. It's clearly an attack, since the worst of the fire seems to be coming from the room that Karen and the chief are in.
Hey! Are you guys okay?
Over here! Oh, the editor-in-chief is hurt.
Mr. Hardy. Ah, you're back. Did you get the report?
Yeah, but are you okay?
It's my leg. I don't think I can walk. Let's get out of here. Lend me a hand. I have to stay alive and write this article before I die.
Okay.
We then have to crawl our way out, which is probably smart, considering that the smoke is filling up the room. But as soon as we're outside, Keith has to carry the chief. Not sure where the backpack went. Now, finally, we're gonna get to the park and get rescued. The park actually doesn't look too bad, to be honest. As soon as we find some benches, the chief asks if we can rest a bit. Okay, man, that option's just rude. Well, you know, taking a break doesn't sound like a bad idea. Let's ask the chief some questions while we're here. First thing we discuss is the chief asks if anyone was at Christoph Construction. Chief reveals that a man named Albert was there. He says he's sure he's on the public office poster. I think he's mentioning this. The chief says that Albert is from the Land Development Department. Keith says he was talking to someone and plays the conversation for the chief. The chief tells everyone to keep their mouth shut about what they heard. Tell no one. Not even Greg, since he's, their competition. He says they need to get off the island with this story. Next, we can ask about Greg, which the chief says that Greg is kind of a risk taker. He likes to take jobs where there's a lot of danger. The chief believes that Greg, having lost a lot, his whole family even, has a death wish. Are you sure about that?
You're in my way.
That's not the impression I got. Oh well, time to move on. We keep going until we find a lake, but we're stopped when more tremors happen and knock down some trees in our way.
Whoa!
The chief tells us to put him down somewhere, so we can look around to find another way to make progress. Karen offers to watch him. Then our radio goes off.
Here is a new update on the Stiver Island earthquake. Rescue operations are being performed with 3 boats, the Poseidon, Triton, and Zeus. These boats will be heavily loaded and have medical staff for... I'm just getting word. We'll be taking you live to our eye in the sky above Capital City.
Thanks. We're reporting live from above Capital City. 2 boats, the Poseidon and Triton, have nearly completed loading passengers and look to be departing shortly. The remaining boat, Zeus, is still conducting operations at Windrunner Park. There seems to be many submerged buildings near Windrunner Park. This is preventing the boat from coming alongside the pier. From your friendly eye in the sky, it seems like there is no confusion and operations are being performed smoothly. Zeus will probably finish its rescue operation by noon. According to government reports, this rescue operation will nearly complete the evacuation of the city. After this, helicopters will be used to perform searches. This was a live report from above Capital City.
After the radio finishes, we can hear a helicopter nearby. The chief suggests we go to the open area and try to signal to the helicopter. The best place would be the memorial tree, which is across the lake. So let's get swimming. Okay, so, I messed this up, at least in this playthrough. I completely forgot I had picked up a flare earlier in the game. It was in the archives of the Crier. Thankfully, it's actually not important if you get the helicopter's attention. Getting a bigger backpack would have been nice, but Keith would also look really goofy. Not that Keith doesn't already look goofy with the sunglasses and cowboy hat, but, it's neither here nor there. Looking around, there's a rescue boat not that far away. This is actually the first ending we can get in the game. It's a bad ending, but it's there. We can tell the rescue team that we're alone and just leave everyone behind. Real cold. Yeah, feel bad, Keith. Keith informs the rescue team there's other people, so Keith heads back to get Karen and the chief. As he swims back, there's another tremor. Oh, wait. That actually was really easy to dodge. Never mind. In fact, it turns out to make things a lot easier since it drains the pond. Keith can carry the chief across. Now listen to the weirdest sound effect. we can finally escape, right?
I need to take him to the boat. Please, wait here.
Thank you.
I can't believe this.
Why did he just sit there and let himself get crushed?
It's so little time to get out of the way. No, no! Go!
Having lost our best chance to escape, Karen and Keith head towards where Greg told them to meet him if we survive. We're starting to run out of options on how to get out of here, but we do find Greg. He says we should have evacuated. Thanks, Greg. We tried, then our rescuer got unnecessarily crushed. Karen asks a question I bet all of you are asking. This is Kelly. Why is she suddenly here? Well, she's a different route of the game. She's kind of pointless if you ask me, but we'll talk about her after this playthrough. She asks if we've seen a little boy, and we let her know we have seen a small boy on the rescue boat. We also let Greg know that we met the chief and he has gotten off the island. Since it looks like no one else is coming to the park, Greg suggests we head to the May Stadium, which was turned into an evacuation center. We heard the radio mention that place before. Greg also suggests the control center, since it has a huge heliport. It's on the other side of the stadium, so we can check that if the stadium doesn't work out. After we're inside, Greg takes us aside. He lays out the reality of our situation. We're in trouble. We probably won't be rescued at this point, even if we make it to the control center. Showing a rare sign of caring, Greg says we need to make sure the girls don't get left behind. Greg is pretty much telling us we should use the buddy system and to be paired with one of them. Which is weird since Keith has been with Karen the whole time. The game is giving us a chance to change who comes with us for some weird reason. Why would I want to go with Kelly? I don't know her. It's better if Greg sticks with who he came with. I might need to take back what I said about him caring. Anyway, we're sticking with Karen. We decide to split up into our groups. So Keith and Karen are going through the field, while Kelly and Greg go through the stadium stand. Looks like people have been evacuated. Greg ain't wrong. It's looking less and less likely we'll escape at this point. There's a chest guard, helping me make Keith look sillier than before. Too bad I don't have that large backpack. More tremors come up. The place deciding to come down on us. Time to die. A lot. The timing in this area and the try and error parts of this can be a bit annoying. It's also very, very loud. That's not the end. Time for round 2 of guessing where Keith needs to go to live. And yes, you do have to do the whole thing over again. After a few tries, I found that Keith needs to pretty much hug the right side to survive. Everywhere else will just crush him. And then that's the stadium level. We're at one of my favorite parts of the game. Just watch.
Hey, there's some people still left.
Oh, poor souls. That's the...
What?
Sir, we've discovered people still here.
So what? Don't bother with them. Forget it.
But sir, it's that newspaper reporter we saw in the executive office.
What? Why didn't you say that to begin with? I can't believe he's still alive. Take care of him already.
Understood, sir. What do you say we have a little fun with him?
Sounds good.
So those pesky natural disaster missiles. One sec, while I get a drink and patch myself up. It's really short and there's not much to this section, but the fact that missiles are shot at you is just so funny to me that I love it. And now we're at my least favorite part of the game. Funny how they are next to each other. The mall. I hate the mall. It's pretty much just a stealth stage. Keith and Karen have to sneak around the whole level to avoid these guys. It wouldn't be so bad, but the camera gets fixed in a lot of places. The checkpoints are weird. There are 3, and for the most part, are in good spots. Except for one. This spot here took a while for me to realize I didn't even need to go this way. There's just a collectible compass on the other side. Karen gives the umbrella back to you if you talk to her, which is good because we need to get past this gate. Keith needs to use the umbrella to hit the button on the other side for the shutter. Now we get our first checkpoint for this part of the mall stealth, which would be fine since once you get past the boxes part, you get another. However, you have to do this walk around part every time you die. So you have to wait every time for this guy to walk all the way here and watch this cutscene. So getting past this part can be really frustrating after a while, since the camera is fixed. You can't turn it. Thank goodness you get a checkpoint after it, since I didn't move Keith fast enough after separating with Karen. I got him killed. After escaping the crazy guy with the missile launcher, we end up in a dark part of the mall. This is still a stealth section. It just doesn't restart until you try to get a key for the back door.
There he is!
Anyway, get the key and sneak to the back door. It leads into more stealth. I'm still trying to figure out how he didn't see me. After sneaking past the man again, at one point crawling under some beds, I finally find Karen. Karen and Keith can't meet up due to the gate being in the way, so they split up again. After some more stealthiness, I finally find the exits.
Hey! Look out above!
I'll be right there!
Keith needs to climb up there somehow. Thankfully, it seems the missile launcher guy buried himself in the mall. So we should be fine, right? Alright, there were 2 of them. Now I'm sure you're all thinking, I need to be careful and dodge these shots, but Keith never got hit. I don't know how Keith is supposed to get hit. I'm not sure if it was luck or if Keith needs to stand still. Anyway, Keith makes it across and finds Karen. Then suddenly, helicopter. I guess that missile launcher guy didn't die. And yes, Keith has to fight the helicopter. This is a boss fight, believe it or not. You want to guess how? Well, while it took a moment, here's the deal. To avoid getting shot, you need to push the helicopter away from you with the hose. I didn't show this earlier, but in the mall, you do use a hose to knock out some boxes that are standing in your way, so the mechanic doesn't completely come out of nowhere. And after that, you need to hit the structure next to the helicopter to knock it down. Oh yeah, I have an orange tint in first person because I have sunglasses on. Yeah, the game actually takes that into account.
Repeat. We have just received news reports that the rescue boat Zeus is stranded off the coast of Stiver Island. The boat was headed toward the capital city control center, but hit a submerged bridge and is now sinking. All citizens on board are safe, and a helicopter is currently headed to rescue them. We'll keep you informed as more news comes in.
And that was the mall stage. Look, I know this game seems to just keep going, but we really are close to the end at this point. It seems like we might have a way off the island. Hopefully we can hitch a ride on the helicopter with the chief.
Yo.
Chief! Are you okay?
I'm fine. My leg still hurts, but I can walk on it at least.
Are you okay? How's your brother doing?
He's alright. They're taking care of him now.
That's good. What about Greg?
He's around here somewhere.
He's probably doing some interviews or something. Miss this helicopter, you'll be in trouble.
All right.
He's right. This might be our last chance to get saved. So, we're gonna take the long way to get in there. Don't know why we don't just climb the fence. I know I would. But we're gonna head through the building to find a way into the fenced area. Unfortunately for us, there are tons of closed gates and collapsed ceilings, which forced Keith and Karen to take a very long way through the building. On our way, we find a control room of sorts. Inside there's a model of the island. I wonder if the plan to cause the earthquakes was thought up here. Maybe even executed here. Moving on from this place, Keith and Karen end up in an open area. Karen is relieved to still hear the helicopter. We're gonna be optimistic. There's no way the chief didn't tell them to wait for us, right?
Huh?
No!
Oh. Crap. Hey, it's that Albert creep. If he's still here, there might be a ride for us yet. At least that's what Keith believes. Though that might be tricky since they want Keith dead and all. Keith checks the bathroom and finds Albert there. I guess our plan is to find his helicopter and take it for ourselves? Or do we not have a plan at all? We are pretty desperate at this point. Keith and Karen make their way out, hearing a helicopter, probably Albert's ride, above us. As we start to head out, we find a room where we hear Greg talking. So Greg is still here too. Hearing footsteps approaching, Keith decides to quickly head into the room with Greg and whoever else he's talking to. Better than being caught by someone who might try to kill them.
What? Karen, why are you still here?
Uncle Terry.
Oh, you guys. I'm in the middle of an interview. Be quiet.
Mr. Stiver.
Excellent. You did it. Good work, Terry.
It can start whenever we want it to.
When will it be then?
I'm thinking June 21st.
June 21st. I see. Okay. June 21st it is. Now, finally.
Yeah. Let's put an end to this.
That's Albert Sims, right?
Looks like he has a connection with an underground organization.
Terry, I'm going to ask you again. Why did you do this?
Revenge.
Revenge?
Yeah. Revenge.
You sank an entire island for revenge?
My enemy is the government. It's the only revenge I could get.
The government?
My family was killed by the government.
What?
A mountain collapsed while collecting gravel during the construction of Stiver Island. My family was caught in the rubble and killed.
And you blamed that on the government?
There was a clear oversight on safety verifications, but they didn't admit it. The operator wasn't accused of anything. Stiver Island was constructed as if nothing happened, and I had to supervise the whole thing. It was nothing but pain. I wanted to kill myself. But Albert stopped me. He gave me a reason to live.
And the purpose was?
To sink this island and get revenge.
I see.
I have one more thing I would like you to listen to.
Ah, Terry? He's still alive. I won't let him die that easily. Then killing his family would mean very little. I'm his best friend. Everything will go smoothly.
What is this?
He was in the executive office of Christoph Construction. He was contacting someone with a radio.
Hey, Terry! Are you there? Open up!
Thank you very much. I'll be going now.
Uncle.
Oh, Karen. Go on. Leave me alone for a while.
Let's go.
When did Greg get a boat? I guess we don't have time for that. We have another helicopter attacking us. In this section, I don't control anything except having Keith brace, which I then realized all I had to do was hold the button down through the whole thing and Keith would be fine. No timing necessary. Which, you know, is a little anticlimactic. At least the first time I had to actively dodge them.
Breaking news regarding the tsunami. A short while ago, a tsunami began forming due to the earthquake. It is expected that the tsunami will reach around 200 feet in height when it reaches the coast.
Nice driving, Greg. We somehow lost our pursuers. Not sure how. All three start to do a bit of wandering through the sinking island. Then, just like the radio said, everyone is about to be hit with a tsunami. So with the tsunami coming, Keith and Karen need to get to higher ground as fast as they possibly can. As usual, Greg just books it.
Get to the highest place you can!
Remember, everyone, Greg has a death wish. Okay. I don't know how I did this in one go, but I happened to miss everything that would have killed Keith and Karen here. I know this isn't the time, but Keith and Karen seem to have gotten pretty close.
Over here! From this point, you can get over there!
I'll distract them! Go!
Okay.
Crap. Leave me alone.
No!
poor Greg. I guess that makes up for pushing Keith. No, I haven't gotten past that.
You're in my way. Get out of my way!
He's still shooting even while submerged. That's dedication.
Listen, I don't care about you. But you have something that only you know. Write the article. That's it. Get out of here. Goodbye.
I think we get Greg's camera. The only reason why I think this is because he doesn't fall with it. Well, and we get to look at it when the game ends, but I'll talk about that later. And that's the end of Greg. How unfortunate. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the last part of the game. We're about to witness peak cinema. I will just let this play out.
You know too much. And I hate people that know too much. You're persistent. And you must not live. Ready to die for me?
Albert,
What?
I want to take her with me. She's my niece.
Fine. All I want is the reporter.
I want to ask you one more thing.
What? Can't it wait?
It's very important.
What is it? What is it? Hurry up!
Did you kill my family?
What are you talking about?
A man told me that you were the one that planned the accident 10 years ago.
I see.
Albert, answer me. Did you? Answer me.
Oh, man. Don't you insult me. Didn't it look like an accident to you? I thought you'd be beneficial to me. But you're just not cunning enough. In any case, you shouldn't be around. Damn it! You're getting on my nerves! Ah!
The past 10 years had great purpose to me. I thank you for giving me a reason to live. I want to thank you. Don't fight it. You're my friend, remember? Stay with me a while longer.
No!
Uncle!
Repeat, survivors found on the top of the building. Can we go save them? Anytime you're ready. Roger, commencing rescue operations.
June 2005. Rainy. Stiver Island just disappeared outside my window.
And that is how the normal ending for Karen ends. Oh yes, there's another ending for Karen. Her true ending. See, you have to do certain actions to get her other ending, and I did most of them without realizing it. Comforting her, giving her the umbrella, finding the photo for her, giving her water every so often, and sticking with her till the end. Those are some of the things you need to do to get her ending. There's just one bit I didn't do. Thankfully, it's at the end, so let's just reload a save. Everything else plays the same except for the part where Karen gets shot instead of Keith. After Albert and Terry fall to their death, the helicopter leaves, but no rescue helicopter comes in. So what now? Well, we need to get to higher ground, of course.
Karen!
And that's the true ending. Wait, that's the ending? All that hard work? I can get Keith and Karen killed? This feels kind of backwards. Is that the end? No, we have one other route. I will admit though, when I did it, it was kind of a letdown. Most of it is the same, but some changes in dialogue since it's a different character. I tried to get Kelly's real ending, but failed. However, the ending is the same as Karen's. I didn't get her true ending, but I know it's the same. Kelly is not connected to anything, she's just some teenager. There's a few levels that are different. Which is nice that they change it up a bit, but as soon as we get to the Crier News building, the game plays out the same way. So I'll stop there. The quick setup is, once you get to the choice with Karen to save her dog, you choose to head to the park instead. Don't worry, Greg will take care of Karen. Greg asks if you can get a file from a locker at an amusement park and give it to a doctor. Heading towards the amusement park, Keith finds a bike. I forget how to ride for a moment, but it becomes kind of useless quickly. I don't even know why the bike is in this game. I get lost for a bit before I realize I have to get Keith through this dirty water area. I thought I would drown if I walked through it. After some wandering around and climbing over destroyed buildings, Keith gets to the amusement park and has to move a fallen sign out of the way to get to it. Keith spots a girl and calls out.
Oh! Please! Help me! My leg is caught!
Okay, I'll be there in a second. Hang on!
Let's just find a way around to help her and...
Ow! Over here! No! Hey!
Oh. Let's try that again.
Thanks.
After saving Kelly, Keith asks if her leg is hurt, but she seems fine. Keith asks if anyone else is here, which she says she was with her younger brother, but it appears they got separated. Keith suggests that Jason, Kelly's brother, might be at one of the rescue spots, like the park. Keith suggests that he can help Kelly get there, and she can show him where the hospital is. Lucky for them both, the hospital is on the way to the park. Nice! Kelly then shows us on the map where her house and the hospital is. Before we can really get going, the radio goes off. But we've heard this all before, this is just rescue information we got from the last route. I find a new hat, but decide to leave it there. Why? Because on the second playthrough, I realize I have completely neglected a mechanic. You can assemble and separate items. There's quite a few items you can make, but as you can see, I didn't really need any of it. But I wanted to make a hard hat with a light on it. I never did, either because I forgot or just didn't find what I need for it. I'm going to assume it's more useful in hard mode. Speaking of stuff that probably happens more in hard mode, this is the first time I've found bad water in the game. We find a way to move forward by getting into a swan boat. You know, one of those two-people paddle boats. After escaping death from a Ferris wheel, Keith and Kelly get to the other side. The structure here is pretty bad. Keith almost falls to his death. It separates him from Kelly, so after looking around, Keith finds a way across, pushing a card down for Kelly to use. Nah, Kelly, this isn't one of those bad endings, so I can't have Keith abandon you yet. We barely start heading into the neighborhood before another tremor happens.
Do your best. Do your best. Do your best. Do your best.
Whew. After barely escaping that, Keith worries that they are stuck in a dead end. But this is Kelly's neighborhood. She knows her way around. Eventually, Keith and Kelly run into a cop.
Hey, you there. Are you okay? You're survivors, right? I'm Officer Jeff Burrows of the Capitol Police. Is it only you two? Did you see anyone else?
Just us two now.
Did you see a little boy? I'm looking for my younger brother.
A little boy. No, sorry, I haven't. Anyway, go to the hospital up ahead. A rescue helicopter will be there shortly.
But I want to stop at my house real quick. My brother might be there.
I've already looked around this area extensively. But, okay. If any building looks unstable, don't go in. It could be dangerous. The rescue helicopter will be here around sundown. Be sure to be at the hospital by then.
Okay.
I'll be patrolling this area. Keep an eye on her. I have to go now.
Okay, we can get rescued. Let's stop by Kelly's house real quick and get out of here.
Man, it's a mess. Take your shoes off first. Just kidding. Leave them on. It looks like we can go down here.
Isn't that dangerous?
Yeah, well, I need to check if he's there or not. I'll be right back. Wait here.
Well, Keith has been left to look around the room, and you can't avoid it. She won't return until you look at all the key points in the room. What are those? Just click at what looks like Keith might react to. There's nothing here that will tell what it is. Ooh, new horrible glasses. Nice. Kelly comes back, not having found Jason. Keith asks Kelly where her parents are, and it turns out they work off the island. Kelly is really worried about Jason, but considering where we found him on Karen's route, he's probably fine. Kelly and Keith decide to wait by the house in case Jason shows up. By the evening, they both decide to head towards the hospital. Maybe they'll get lucky and he's there. Heading towards the hospital, Keith and Kelly run into another police officer.
More survivors. Are you guys okay? Did you see anyone else left behind?
Only a young officer. We didn't see anyone from the amusement park to here.
Yeah. That was probably Officer Burrows. You know, he should be back soon. I'm Officer Eric Liu. Anyone injured? Are you okay?
We're fine. I heard something about a rescue helicopter coming to the hospital.
Yeah, that's correct. It should be here soon.
Hey, have you seen a little boy? I can't find my brother.
As it should be. Children are rescued in priority. You know, I saw a few children, but I'm just not sure. Oh, there's a doctor still here. You know, maybe he knows. Well, I'll take you there.
Are the policemen staying behind?
Well, it's part of our job. But honestly, I am worried. My family was evacuated already, so at least they're okay. I can't believe it. This area is sinking too. Oh, the next helicopter, it'll probably be the last one. I'd like to hurry and get off this island and see my family.
He seems eager to leave. Heading towards the hospital, we're kind of just outside it. The setup is a little small, but there is a doctor here. He's also the doctor that Greg wanted us to give the file to. Kelly asks about her brother and finds out that he was there, but he didn't take the helicopter because he was looking for his sister and he left. Kelly gets upset when the doctor says not to look for Jason, and she goes to sulk. So Keith talks with the doctor. Oh crap, I forgot Greg's file. I'm gonna skip the whole conversation with the doctor because it's pretty much just all the information we already know at this point. It's nothing new. Keith and Kelly help get people into the helicopter. We might finally get out of here. And since I forgot the file, I'm gonna show one of Kelly's bad endings.
Harry, please. Squeeze in tighter. What's wrong?
I'm not leaving.
What are you saying? Get on.
But Jason...
There's no time for this. You get on too.
Anyway, let's actually go get that file. I tried looking at the file, but the game won't let me. Shame. Let's fast forward. He totally didn't abandon anyone. Nope.
I'm not getting on either.
What? Are you sure? Will you help me get these people
I have a question.
on?
If you let those two on, then there's not enough room for me. I mean us. It seems like there's just not enough room.
The safety of our citizens is our priority. You will cooperate with us. Is there room for me or not? Listen, we must first...
Can I get on or no?
Listen! I'm asking if I can get on or not!
Officer Lou!
Be quiet! You shut up! I'm a citizen too! I have a family! Oh man, and what if I die here? Then what? Who's gonna take care of my family, huh? Who? Why do I have to stay behind just because I'm a cop? You've gotta be kidding me. I get it! If I get rid of one or two of you, I can get on, right?
Officer Eric!
Ah! Go, go, go! Hurry! Lift off!
That went from 1 to 100 fast. That's probably the most interesting part of Kelly's route. And like most moments in this game, everything begins to fall apart and we gotta run. Keith is a lot skinnier than I thought. He slipped right through that house. We're about to see the last different part of Kelly's route, so let's get across that ladder.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. Get across. Hurry!
Okay.
Do your best. Do your best. Do your best. Do your best.
Watch out! Over here! Over here! Over here! Over here! Are you okay?
Too much. Hanging.
Can you walk? This place will sink too if we don't hurry.
Trying.
We're almost there. Hurry! Try harder! Come on! Hurry! Whoa! Phew. We're almost there. Hurry! No!
Hey!
Are you okay?
I thought I was dead! Phew. My house? It just sank.
Let's go to Windrunner Park. We have to find your brother.
Yeah. There is a reason we stayed behind. Let's go.
And that's all the unique parts of Kelly's route. I'm now going to show a few parts of Kelly's route that I think are worth seeing, or I find funny, or kind of weird. Kelly sees her brother in the boat.
Hey! Jason!
Hey, Kel. Where were you?
Where were you? Wandering around by yourself?
I was looking for you.
I was really worried. I thought you...
Oh, come on, Kel. Don't cry.
Excuse me. I need to take him to the boat. Please, wait here.
Thank you. You're lucky you found your brother.
Yeah.
Reunited with Karen and Greg.
Who's he?
Hey, I heard that. I'm Greg Bach, a photographer.
Who's this?
This is Kelly Austin. She was stranded at the amusement park.
Man, it feels like that was so long ago.
Oh, I see how it is.
What's that supposed to mean, Karen? I found some shin pads that help complete Keith's look. Looking good, Keith. And that's kind of it for Kelly. That isn't a repeat of Karen's route. Here's my report card for both endings. I think it scores you on how well you handle surviving in the game. Also, there are a few side things I missed. Last thing I want to show is after you beat the game, you unlock Greg's camera, which is why I think it survives at the end. All these photos are what Greg was doing. One half is Karen's route, the other half is Kelly's route. I liked it overall. While Kelly's route gets samey, the new parts were exciting and fun. Rushing through her neighborhood, climbing across the ladder, those were better than platforming in Karen's route. But I do like Karen's story much better, makes more sense, feels less weird. Also, Karen is related to the story while Kelly isn't at all. Thanks so much for watching to this point. What's for the future? Well, there is a sequel to Disaster Report. Actually, there's 3 more games. Join me for Raw Danger.
You sure everything is okay?
I heard the levee along the Hudson River just broke. Water is stopped and now the gas. We can't do our job without them.
Hey! Geo Police Department has issued an alert for an escaped murder suspect. The suspect escaped when the ground...
Hey!